Hello, good day to all our listeners. This is Jonrel
And Joni.
of JIP Migrate, once again bringing you the JIP podcast where we share educational materials and latest news on migration and of course other topics that interest us and would be relevant to migration. So today we are going to be talking about more about residency and how you should live in Europe. All right, we're going to take one example from Spain, and it would briefly talk about empadronamiento. All right, what does that mean? You're going to be finding out, and yeah, how it actually affects our clients, especially that have moved already to Europe and continuing their lives. It's not as simple sometimes, when you want to move to another country, especially in Europe. Europe is very notorious with bureaucracy. That's what they're known for good reasons as well. But it can be very complicated and very tedious for the applicant, which is why JIP Migrate is here to help with all of those things. So even after migration, when they have already moved and like have had the apartments and have had the papers, etc., JIP Migrate also helps with the post migration processes like this one, empadronamiento. We're going to be talking more about that. But anyway, just wanted to share to you all that we have had better days here in Europe now. These past days, apparently, spring has begun officially, and yeah, things are getting much better around. I mean, like plants are coming around, and especially the birds. Sometimes we just feel, me and Joni, we live in a very simple kind of house, and every morning, groups of birds. There's a big tree. Is that a big tree outside our house?
Yes.
It is. Yeah, there are a few trees there, and we just take a while to listen to the birds like singing. I don't know how to tell you how awesome it sounds like for me, especially that I'm blind. How about you? Do you like it?
I love it.
Love it. Yeah, it feels like paradise every morning. And when we eat lunch, like today, we just like heard the birds singing around the background. And it's real. It's not just, imaginary. It's, I don't know. This place is perfect for us. We live in a very far away place, remote, and not many people. So it's paradise for us. And we've been eating really good food, for me at least. If we're eating like buckwheat. Never tried that before in our country in the Philippines. We've always had what? White rice, right?
Yes.
But now Joni is like preparing buckwheat. If you guys don't know about that, you can of course Google and know what kind of plant it is. So we've been eating that instead of rice, and Joni would prepare like for today baked chicken on what was that sauce? Kari masala.
Tikka masala.
All right, so tikka masala. It was wonderful, heavenly. So we can say paradise. I think Joni was showing you just now, like what exercise materials at the park.
Yes, I
You
do.
were. So yeah, we were also exercising there, and apparently, old people use those equipments, and we joined them because I don't know. Me and Joni, we have so much time. I guess we're at the par of the old people who have who are already retired. So we exercise together apparently. But anyway, yeah, that's just showing you how good Europe is with the healthy living and everything. It's really balanced here, especially if you're an entrepreneur who's like enjoying his her or her time, retirees, these kind of people. These are the people we help with in JIP Migrate. So, getting into the topic, but yeah, oh yeah, but before we go to that, we will now present you a video from our sponsor. It is not.
Are you an investor looking for the best ways to invest your vast amounts of wealth? There is no better place for investment than in Europe. JIP Migrate will serve you with the best property or business investments and earn golden visas for you and your family in Europe. Start now. Want to migrate to Europe? Contact JIP Migrate. We enable possibilities for those who are ready to move.
There you go. And that was Anjay from our very own JIP Migrate team. And he has said it correctly to all the investors there who are looking into investing their wealth into good properties, especially real estate properties. That's what JIP Migrate can help you with. We can help you invest and also bring your whole family to migrate to a beautiful part of Europe, usually Spain, Greece, Italy, and France. These are our most popular like destinations for retirees and golden visa holders. So yeah, why not you, right? So if you are thinking of moving and just enjoying your wealth, JIP Migrate will be here to help you with that. So with that said, let's go to the topic of empadronamiento. Joni will be reading you something.
When you get to Spain, you'll need to apply for your empadronamiento. The word empadronamiento translates from Spanish into English as census. And it's basically just the official way of registering your presence in whichever place you've moved to.
All right. So this is very important to all the listeners, okay? You have to really consider this before you move. There's lots of bureaucratic laws in Europe with regards to residency and moving into a European country. So you can't just move and then find a house and then just sit there. It gets more complicated than that if you want a better future. Especially, we're going to be finding out more of that. But anyway, given this example, this is just from Spain, but from our experience and from our clients and from where we have lived in Europe already, we've lived in numerous places and countries here in Europe. All the countries would require some kind of registration for your residency. Usually it's the census office. All right, you'll have to officially register as a resident. You'll have to register your address, sometimes your work as well, what your purpose is there. Especially in Germany, they do not play around. They really want to know everything before they allow you to just stay there. All right, if you're going to stay in one of their cities, like last time we did, in a smaller city, you have to register to the in their records in the municipality, right? Municipal office.
Yes.
Yes, officially. Okay. For you to declare certain things, especially your official address. That's one. Then sometimes they also ask about your occupation, or if you own a business, or are you a retiree, something like this. Your legal status, basically, and your taxes. They really want to know everything. So you can't just play around and just get there and sit around without being noticed, because this empadronamiento or census in it's called in different names in different countries. This one would really be required to further your other official things. We will find out more, but it would involve your future jobs, future business, your voting, marriage, everything. All right. So it's very important that you obtain this document. This is what JIP Migrate helps you with as well, because it can get very complex, and some of our clients, especially like clients from USA, Canada, they don't really speak the language, and so our team in that locality would help them with these kind of things to get it really fixed the right way, because sometimes you can do it wrong and you'll regret it later on. Like especially in countries like Germany, they're very strict with that, and if you mess it around, you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna have so much trouble in the future, and you're gonna not gonna be moving around too much. It's just not worth it to pass off. You really have to do it, and JIP Migrate will be here to help you with that. All right, so let's continue.
But it's also much more than that. You need to get your empadronamiento to get married, vote, obtain a work permit, buy a house, hire a car, get other important documents, and loads more bureaucratic stuff.
Yeah, like our clients, especially for our clients, what they would usually you know face, the problem that they would face regarding this is banking.
Mm-hmm.
Getting their own banks. European Union banks, they're very strict. They need all the documents, including this, not only your personal documents that you bring from your home country. They need this and the contract and everything else, so that they would give you a bank account. Otherwise, you can't be banking. Right? We've had a
Yes.
few clients who've faced that kind of problems, right?
Yes.
And of course, JIP Migrate team had helped them legally to represent them. We do those services. So our team would represent the client to the banks of their preference to open up a personal or a business bank for them,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can use the financial system of the European Union.
Yes.
So yeah, let's continue.
Anyone who relocates to Spain long term is legally obliged to go through the empadronamiento process. This is all pretty normal, so you might be thinking, what exactly is the culture shock here? Well, the process is a little flawed. When you apply for your empadronamiento, you'll need to provide proof of your current address, even if that address is only a short-term interim place. But some short-term rentals sometimes don't want you to use their address for your empadronamiento. And this is where things get complicated. Without this address, you won't be able to get your empadronamiento. And without your empadronamiento, you won't be able to live in Spain long term.
Yeah, this is especially true for people who rent like Airbnb. There are clients like that. They would think they can move to an Airbnb kind of property for 1 month, and the property owner or whoever manages it won't even allow that address to be registered in the empadronamiento, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because it's
It's
a
just short
yeah,
term.
it's a temporary stay.
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb is automatically a temporary stay, and usually the property managers or the owners would not allow. This is where the problems come in.
Most of the
So
Europeans are really reserved on certain things like this.
yeah, they don't just share, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do, right, it will also be problems for them in the future. Because just imagine this, to the listeners, just imagine this: one client would rent an Airbnb for 1 month and register that as empadronamiento, and by some miracle the owner would accept, and the municipal would register that. The next month, the rentee would be gone, moved somewhere else because it's just temporary. And then someone else again would rent that property, registers that in empadronamiento. What happens? The municipal would ask the owner, "Oh, what happened here? I thought you were registered last month with another name." So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be terrible, terrible news for them. It's gonna be trouble for them. So that's why the owners or the managers don't really want to share their own address
Mm-hmm.
to rentees who are temporary. So it's best, we recommend, JIP Migrate recommends that if you're going to move, we're going to have to decide on more permanent things like an apartment of at least 1 year or even 2 years, right? Just to
Yes.
make things more streamlined and properly documented. Because otherwise, if you're just gonna be staying for 1 month, we register that for the census, things would be messed up later on if you
Mm-hmm.
move again. We've had some clients like that. Of course, sometimes emergencies happen, they have to move somewhere else, or they kind of like the other place. Then it's gonna be problems. It can be done, but it's not gonna be that easy, especially with the bureaucratic laws of European countries. What do you think? Do you know of any European country that does not make this difficult?
Mm, I think all the countries in EU's. requires. This is a basic requirement for them.
Basic requirement, and it's quite complicated. I would say much more complicated than things in Asia, for example. They're really serious about these kind of registration census, and some of them even ask for your taxes, like
Yes.
Germany.
Yes. Everything is recorded.
They ask everything there. So yeah, that's one thing you have to know about. Do we have anything else? Yeah.
To get around that problem, you can rent a short-term place from a company specializing in relocations. This will make getting your empadronamiento much more stress-free and simple. And there's note here, the last part. You only need to apply for your empadronamiento if you'll be in one town or city for 6 months or more. So if you're only sticking around for a short while, you don't need to worry about this one.
Yes, so for most of our clients, they would want to, relocate with long term. But the problem sometimes, how does this apply to people who want to move around? There are those like digital nomads, right?
Yes.
They want to travel the whole continent and like every month they would go somewhere else. We This is what we recommend most of the time. All right, this is important, listeners. So please take note of this. If you want to really fulfill and realize your migration, we really have to get into this census program. All right, so there should be one permanent residency, like a house address, right? Then after that is registered, then you can move around and just go to Airbnbs and everything, go move around into other countries, but you will always have that permanent address considered officially registered in a municipality of one of the countries. Because otherwise, if you're going to start nomading, that means like moving around right at the beginning, you will not get those papers that you would need for the residency. And this is what is important as well. If you want to get your residency permits, you have to comply to these census. All right, especially in countries like Switzerland, Norway, Germany, Austria, these kind of countries, they do not fool around. As I've told you, you really have to comply first, then you can move around. All right, so our suggestion is get this done first, have a permanent address, get a census document, and then move around. Okay, so you some of the digital nomad clients of ours will really have to be a bit more patient when we get these documents. All right, after these are done, then they can move around. All right, so if you're that kind, at least now you know that you have to have a permanent address first, get that registered, and then you can move around anytime. So yeah, this is what we recommend, and hopefully that was a helpful topic for people who are probably like our clients who would want to move through golden visas or our digital nomad programs, business pathway programs. If you want to migrate to Europe, then there are certain laws that you have to comply with. And don't worry, even though it's complicated, JIP Migrate are experts in this kind of field. We have, special departments for this. We have special departments for real estate that can help you with the documents regarding real estate of your address or anything like that. We have for taxes, we have for accounting, we have for legals, we have for families. Just recently, who was that? Yesterday, last night, I think there was this one client who was asking about Polish citizenship. Do you remember that? Polish citizenship. She just married a Polish guy, I think.
Yes.
And they wanted to move to Poland. They're needing help with all the legal things because it seemed they like it seemed very complicated for them. So that's where JIP Migrate comes in. We can help with that, all of those things. It's much more complicated than you would expect, actually. So if instead of worrying about this, why not let JIP Migrate help you with that so you can focus on your beautiful life in Europe when you migrate. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful to anyone who wants to migrate. And yeah, we'll be covering more of these kind of topics. You can let us know as well what kind of topics you want us to cover, so that we can share more education. And of course, Always trust the real experts, because again, there are, I don't want to say fake, but there are imitations out there. And I heard there are service providers who don't even have their own residencies yet. And I don't know what they're trying to do. Trying to provide this kind of service. Just be careful, guys. All right. Sometimes some people offering this kind of service don't really know the complexities of these things. So better trust the real experts, which is JIP Migrate. So, want to migrate to Europe?
Contact JIP Migrate.
We enable possibilities for those who are ready to move. Thank you so much, and see you in the next podcast.
Bye.